Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we'll be taking a look at the Tier 6 Japanese Tech Tree Light Cruiser. It is in early access, so one of those ships that you have to get from containers. It's the OMONO, okay? OMONO, whatever you want to call it. OMONO, that's just what we're going to call it today. Or the AMONO, Anyway, it kind of rhymes with Agano, right? We did a review yesterday of the Agano, and I told you guys that we're going to finish off these Japanese light cruisers this week, starting off, with this one, and then tomorrow we'll do a review for Friday of the Shimanto as well. A lot of O's in these Japanese light cruisers. I think they all have O's at the end of their name. Omano, Shimanto, lots of O's for their cruisers. Have you guys noticed that? Let me actually take a look. Let's take off this filter real quick. Yeah, lots of O's. Oh, Gokase doesn't have it. Or Gokase doesn't have an O. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. Today we're looking at the OMONO, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the upgrades and loadout that I am running currently. I'm running aiming systems, I'm running propulsion, and I'm running concealment systems, okay? We're also fully upgraded as well. For the loadout, we have high explosive, armor piercing, and we have some torpedoes. We'll talk about these three specifically in the specs tab of today's video, coming up right after we look at the rest of the loadout here. We have standard damage control parties, nothing special here. This ship does come with decent sonars. Now, I think they're actually worse than the Gokase's sonar. No, they're actually better. Okay, they're better. So they're slightly better than the Tier 5s. We also did a review of the Tier 5 last week as well. If you guys want to watch all these videos, you just got to scroll back. They should be there. But anyway, yeah, better sonar, slightly. So there you go. Also, this ship does come with an option to have catapult fighters, or you can put on defensive AAs. Once you get to the higher tiers, I think it actually starts at this tier. Yeah, it starts here, where the AA actually becomes pretty good. These cruisers do have decent anti-aircraft armaments, especially when you get to high tiers with the Shimanto. It's ridiculous. So, really, you have to be a little careful when going after these Japanese light cruisers, that's for sure. But for now, we're running a catapult fighter because I just, I like to have that fighter to go over and spot things and whatnot temporarily. It does help, especially when you're trying to use islands and whatnot, so there you go. We're also running an epic battle booster. This gives us extra range, speed, and cooldown time for all of our consumables, so a nice little thing to have there for sure. We're also running the Marine Day 21 flag. This is a Japanese, nice-looking wave flag. It looks cool. I put this on most, if not all, of my Japanese ships, so I do like it. Looks very good. And, of course, we're running the standard type camouflage that the ship comes with, and it's just a solid black, or gray, or dark gray. It looks good. I mean, it looks sleek. It's nothing great. It's nothing terrible either. It's just fine, It's a fine-looking camo, and I do like it. I would say, though, the best-looking camo for the whole line would probably have to go to the Tier 5. We just passed it. The Gokase. The Gokase just has the best looking camo. I mean, it's not just a solid color, you know what I mean? It actually has some green, some nice camouflage on the superstructure there. I like the look of the Gokase, but once you get to Tier 6 with the OMONO, you just get a solid, dark gray camouflage, and then when you get to Tier 7 with the Shimanto, which we'll be taking a look tomorrow at this one, but a little sneak peek here, it's same sort of deal. More of a lighter gray, though. So, very interesting. I do like the camos, though, nonetheless. I don't mind, a sleek-looking gray. I really don't. I don't mind gray. I don't mind black. It looks good on ships, so I will take that. Anyway, moving on to the specs, we have, first off, our survivability. 32,200 hit points, so, I mean, pretty average for a light cruiser, nothing special there, and a 4% torpedo damage reduction. So the torpedo protection, not good at all. If you take a torpedo, you're going to feel it. Try not to take torpedoes, right? In any cruiser, or any ship, really. Try not to take torps, but especially in these, obviously. It's a light cruiser, ladies and gentlemen, remember that. Anyway, it's a light cruiser that comes with a bunch of guns. The artillery here, this ship does have 12 155mm 6-inch guns. Okay, so if we take a look here, she gets 6 off the bow, so off the front, and she gets 6 off the stern, off the back. So 12 guns in total. You got 4 turrets. Each one of those turrets has 3 barrels. Okay, so very nice. Lots of firepower here with the OMONO. Okay, and it even gets better once you get to tier 7, obviously. But yeah, currently on my build, these guns shoot out to 17.3 kilometers. Obviously, depending on your build, you probably will have different range and whatnot, okay? My reload is currently 10.7 seconds. Now, that is a really high reload for 6-inch guns, okay? That is on the high end. Most heavy cruisers have around that reload for 8-inch guns. So you got to really be careful with this. You know, you got to be positioning and you know, trying to not be the center of attention and shooting those guns whenever you can and get away with it, right? So you just got to be, you know, keep your head on a swivel, cycle those guns, but obviously be careful at the same time, right? Because you have a long reload, so you got to really take your shots carefully and really try to aim them properly. But anyway, these turrets have an 180-degree turn time of about 18 seconds, so it's pretty decent, actually. That's not bad. The HE shell maximum damage currently on my build is 2,900, almost 3,000 HE shell maximum damage. Also, the fire setting chances is about 14%. So, I mean, it is 14%. So just bear that in mind as well. Not the highest fire chance, but it's still okay. You should be able to set fires, no problem. And the AP shell maximum damage with a Citadel hit, of course, is 3,300. It's pretty disgusting that my high explosive almost does the same amount of damage as my armor piercing does with Citadel hits. So, obviously, the HE shell maximum damage is also only achieved if you get a Citadel hit, so you gotta, you know, keep that in mind as well. But anyways, the secondaries, you don't have a lot of them, so, you know, you only have like 4 of them. 4 guns in total. And, yeah, don't depend on your secondaries at all. This ship does come with torpedoes. The whole line of Japanese light cruisers comes with torpedoes. These are the 610mm quadruple launchers. You have only 2 sets of them, or 2 racks of them. So if you take a look at the ship here, you have 1 rack on the starboard side and 1 rack off the port side. Okay, and that's it. You only have 8 torpedoes in total. So 4 torpedoes per side, basically, okay? Which is unfortunate. I would think the OMONO would get a lot more torpedoes, but nope, I guess it just got a downgrade in the torpedo department. But at the same time, kind of not, because these torpedoes, although you have less of them compared to the tier 4, or sorry, the tier, the tier 4 and 5, but you do have a slightly better reload on those torpedoes, I do believe, 85 seconds, and you have higher damage on those torpedoes, about 3,000 to 4,000 extra damage on these torpedoes. They do about 20,000, almost 21,000 damage, so they're pretty nasty. If you get hit by one of these OMONO torpedoes, you will 100% feel it. The only problem is getting actually hit by them. It's almost impossible to get hits with this thing unless you're at like close range or you just catch someone slipping completely. These torpedoes are slow, 57 knots, and the range though is really good, 13.5 kilometers. But the odds of you actually hitting these torpedoes are slim to none. Okay, so I mean they're there, but you know you're probably not going to get many hits with them unless you're lucky, basically. Okay. Now moving on to the AA defense. AA defense is pretty decent. You got a bunch of 25mm guns. The mod 1s, the type 96, 60 caliber, I think that's what that is. These have an average damage of 11 with a 3.1 kilometer range, and the other 25mm, the type 96 mod 1s, or I guess they're oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so the 25mm, the first rack is just a single, you know, gun, and the other 25mm, they are mounted in triple guns, so you got 3 barrels on each one of the. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, I need to read Dr. Ghost. You have a lot of them as well. 26 sets of triple-barreled 25mm guns. So that's a lot. That's a lot of AA. A lot of rounds going down range. That's for sure. 159 average damage per second on those. And of course, you got your 100mm secondaries, which are dual purpose, which means they can shoot at, you know, planes and they can shoot at ships. So your secondaries act as AA as well, with an average damage of about 83. Those produce flat clouds, and you got about 5 kilometer range on those. If we just take a look real quick, we could probably spot some of the AA guns. So yeah, right off the bow, on the front, right in front of the conning tower there, and in front of the bridge. That's what I meant to say. as you guys can see, there's a big platform there with an absolute crap load of those triple-mounted machine guns. You also have some on the side there. You got your secondaries there. I think those are Akazuki turrets, if I'm not mistaken. They might be a little different. So there you go. Those also count as your AA guns. It looks like you got some more in the back as well. So you're just littered with AA. You got quite a bit of AA. For a Japanese ship, you are littered. I mean, as you guys can just see, there's some more triple mounts in the back. Those basically look like, you know, Japanese Bofors. They're just not as good, obviously, as like the American 40mm Bofors. But nonetheless, though, I mean, you got quite a bit of AA for a Japanese ship, right? But heading back over to the specs, moving on now to the maneuverability. We have 34 knots speed on my build, 740 meter turning circle radius, and an 8.8 second rudder. I don't mind. Anything above 32 knots is fine with me. For a light cruiser, 34 knots is perfectly okay with me. That is fast enough for me. So I'm okay with that. The turning circle radius is a little, a little long, but that's okay. I'm kind of used to it, and the rudder shift is not, it's not bad. The maneuverability is not bad. It's not great, but it's not terrible. So there you go. Also the concealment, 9.7 concealment by range, or by sea. Currently on my build, 9.7. Detectability range by air is 6.1 on my build currently. Guaranteed detectability range is 2, of course, with a 5.7 detectability while firing in smoke screens. Anyways, let's head on over to the armor viewer for the OMONO. So as you guys can see, the OMONO has basically blue everywhere. She's plastered in 16 millimeters of armor all over the place. She also has 25 millimeters of deck armor as well. Oh, that's superstructure. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, 25 millimeters of deck armor everywhere. And as you guys can see, the turrets have like no armor as well, 25 millimeters. So most things will knock those turrets out, like high explosive and stuff. Yeah, those turrets have very little protection. So you really got to be careful there. Taking away all of that and looking at the Citadel, as you guys can see, the Citadel is pretty exposed. So you really got to be careful using islands, using your sea concealment, whatnot, and just, keeping your head on a swivel and not getting hit by high caliber armor piercing shells. Now speaking of high caliber armor piercing shells, let's go ahead and see the armor. So the bow armor, 16 millimeters. So let's say, for example, you get shot at by a heavy cruiser. So 203 millimeters. So 203 millimeter guns, 8-inch guns, right? Divide that by 14.3. We know the OMONO has 16 millimeters of bow armor, so therefore you can bow tank heavy cruisers. Okay, so you can bow tank 6-inch guns, you can bow tank 8-inch guns, but you cannot bow tank anything bigger than obviously that. So for example, now if you get shot at by the next bracket of shells, so if you get hit by ships with, what's the next biggest bracket? 11-inch gun. Let's do 11. So 283. Let's just do 280. 280 millimeters, divide that by 14.3 equals, so 280. So Scharnhorsts and stuff like that. Graf Spies, they will be able to overmatch you. So any battleship basically at tier 6 will be able to punch straight through your bow and whatnot. So you got to be careful. It's mainly the battleships that you have to worry about. But one thing, too, I want to mention is, high explosive from anything. Any cruiser, 6-inch high explosive, 8-inch high explosive especially, will absolutely just rip you apart. You'll take penetrations like no tomorrow. That's basically how every light cruiser is, though, at tier 6, so that's really nothing new. But I'm just trying to get you familiar with some of the calculation there when it comes to armor-piercing shells. You guys can do that on any calculator, by the way. All you do is, if you want to know the overmatch of an armor-piercing shell, you just take, so for example, a common one is like 16-inch guns. So 406, divide that by 14.3. It's always divided by 14.3. You take the size of the gun, so 406 millimeters, and divide that by always 14.3. And this is the AP shell overmatch value thing. And you just equal that. And as you guys can see, 16-inch guns, 406s can overmatch 28 millimeters of armor effectively. So that's how you do that, okay? Anyways, last thing we're going to take a look at, and then I'll bring you guys over the gameplay of today's video, the gameplay portion, rather. The commander. So the commander we're running is ARP Haguro, I think, or just Haguro, whatever. We're running El Dartigue du Fournay, and we're running Gunichi Mikawa. Okay, du Fournay gives me extra HE damage, and Mikawa gives me extra concealment. So pretty nice stuff to have there. We're running the Deck is on Fire. That's our base trait. It increases our fire chance and our main battery range. We are running Beyond Range, Igniter, Hellfire. This is a unique perk to her. It increases her penetration and her HE shell damage overall. So this is really nice to have. We're running Fixated and Refill Station. So overall, pretty good commander. Now, obviously, I don't have Azraelina Tago. If I had her, I would be throwing her on, okay? So just keep that in mind. I don't have her, but next time, maybe I might pick her up. That's if she ever comes back, which I don't think she will. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enough jibber-jabber, and let's bring you guys over to the gameplay portion of today's video. Hope you all do enjoy it. Okay, so here we are in the gameplay portion. Do pardon the longevity of the intro and the review portion of just us looking at the ship and the specs and whatnot. Don't mind that. Obviously, since this is a review, I do have chapters that you guys can skip around to, so if you just swipe along the timeline, you should be able to go to parts, you know, skip a little bit ahead. Obviously, these videos are a little bit longer than usual because I'm trying to, you know, go over everything possible that I can think of about the ships, okay? I'm not trying to sell you the ships. I'm not trying to, you know, get you to buy them or pick them up. I'm just trying to tell you guys what I think about them and just, you know, giving you my honest thoughts. That's what I'm always about on the channel, is just giving you my thoughts on things. That's what I think we do best here so far. So anyway, we're in the OMONO. We're on, I don't remember the name of this map. I think it's, whatever you call it. It's one of those Norwegian maps. I forgot the name of it, but anyway, maybe if I look at the name, I'll remember. But until then, we're just on a map. We're on the left side of it, Alpha Spawn. We're going around doing whatever, you know, spamming high explosive out. You know how it is. We're doing light cruiser things. We're just spamming out, you know, salvos of high explosive, trying to set fires and you know, making people have a bad time. That's the whole idea. Now, I do remember I am in a division with Simpin Ain't Easy 1. I'm sure you guys have seen him on the channel before if you are long-term viewers. He's in, I think, the Collingwood, and yeah, he's just going to go up there, do things, maybe get some nice shots, God only knows. RNG works in mysterious ways, so, you know. But anyway, we're up to 20,000 damage, and we're just kind of sailing around, setting fires, and, you know, burning things down. That's, you know, what these cruisers do really well. But they also can torpedo things and whatnot, so do keep that one, you know, in the back of your mind when you're sailing around. You do have torpedoes. Send them out there. Put them out there to zone. Now, obviously, the OMONO is not very good at zoning torpedoes. Like, it only has one rack of torpedoes, so it's not too scary, you know what I mean? It's not going to potentially keep everybody off a cap. It doesn't have a lot of torpedoes, so it's not very effective at zoning, you know what I mean, with those torpedoes. So, what I find the OMONO is best at is just sailing, you know, around, kiting, sending out loads of high explosive, hoping you get fires, and so on and so forth. Now, as you guys just saw, I took like 3 or 4 salvos from those battleships, and, well, I'm still alive. Shocking. Also, I did just look at the map. What was it? God dang it, I missed it. I'm sure some of you guys might have saw it, but I don't remember the name of this damn map. Is it Scandinavia? Is that the name of it? I don't remember. It's one of these freaking Norwegian maps. I completely forgot the name of it. Maybe I just got it right there. Maybe it is Scandinavia. I'm probably going to pause the video right here and go back and look. Okay, so news. It was Scandinavia. I was right. Okay, awesome. So we are on Scandinavia. It is the smaller version of Scandinavia, though. This map did come out, like, I think a couple months ago. So, yeah, we're on this map. It's a smaller, condensed version that Wargaming released a while back, I believe. Unless they released it this update, I don't remember. But I think they released it a couple updates ago. But anyways, doesn't matter. What matters is the game here. So there is a double division of Arizonas out here. 2 Arizonas, and we are just going to absolutely finesse the shit out of them, okay? So we're trying to set fires on them, all right? We got 1 fire on the one Arizona that's closest to us. We got another fire on the other Arizona. So we currently have 2 consecutive fires burning at the same time on both Arizonas. It's hilarious. Now, the one Arizona, I think, did just damage con my one fire, but we set him on fire immediately again. Like, oh, that's so toxic, but I love it. I love it. This is what high explosive spammers do. They just set all the fires. Now, we just got a double fire on that Arizona in front of us. That one we're shooting at right there at 10 kilometers. He's currently on a double fire. And he is not having fun. And these Arizonas are desperately trying to hit me. But they are just not getting the RNG. They're just not getting the RNG right now. But we're also kind of throwing their shots off too. We're not just making it easy. I mean, we are stopping, we are going, that kind of thing. We're about to reverse. Now, I'm taking a shot at the other Arizona because this Arizona off the right is almost dead. So, there you go. Also, I don't think we have a single fire. I think we have a double fire on both of them. So, the one Arizona just went down. That one Arizona just went down, and we have a double fire on the other Arizona. Oh, my lord. Oh, one of the fires just went out. Okay. One of the fires just went out. Arizona is still shooting at me. This guy is mad. I don't blame him, though. You know? I do not blame him for shooting at me. Now, one thing, too, is there's a Belfast right off my right side here. As you guys can see, at 2 kilometers. And remember, he doesn't have torpedoes, so it doesn't really matter to me if I push him. But I don't want to, you know, push him at the same time because, like, you know, it's kind of risky. Especially since there's an Arizona out here that could slap me. And this Belfast could load high explosive and rip me apart. So, you know, I really got to be careful. But what I am doing is pushing enough to where the Belfast is like, nope, I'm moving away. And Simpin is right there to shoot him. Simpin's right there with his Collingwood. And unfortunately, Simpin gets overpens. Because of course he does. RNG, you know, like we said earlier, RNG works in mysterious freaking ways. So, unfortunately, Simpin doesn't get the kill. He should have. Simpin got robbed. He got robbed by RNG there. Not even gonna lie, straight up. But nonetheless, that is both Arizonas down. Both Arizonas are dead. This Benson is the only one remaining. And, well, yeah, he's not long for this world at all. We've got all of our 12 guns cycling out there, and he's on, like, quarter HP. He's, yeah. He's a dead man walking. We got a fire. We got our high caliber medal as well. No kills. We got our high caliber medal. But that's about to change because we are going to get our first kill of the game 10 minutes into the match. And with that kill, that's the end. The first and the last kill goes to me. But nonetheless, that's it. That's the gameplay. 112,000 damage, bunch of fires, and all the things. And, of course, a high caliber medal. You got to love to see that. And we were top of the leaderboard with 2,100 base XP. Simpin was unfortunately middle. But, you know, RNG does that. If your guns ain't going to work, you're not going to accomplish a whole lot. But anyways, hope you all did enjoy today's video. If you guys did, be sure to go down there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That's the OMONO. Nothing crazy. I mean, these light cruisers aren't overpowered. They're good, but they're not overpowered. They're just fine, man. They are just fine. Fine as gravy. But nonetheless, everybody, have a great one. And, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out. Stay healthy, as always.